Hi everyone and welcome to this Network 21 Connect meeting. My name is Lena and I'm going to be your host this event. We have a fantastic program for you and I hope that you, wherever you are, sitting at home or maybe together with your friends in your team somewhere, really are up to taking notes and be alive and interested this evening, because we have some great information for you. One good thing to know is that you can always have subtitles in the Scandinavian languages, Finnish, Swedish, Danish or Norwegian while you're watching. And another good thing to know is you can always re-watch and see the events or parts of the events again 4 more days after tonight. So you can go back to your favorite parts and listen all over again, really to learn. Because Network 21 provides us with information from the best of the best and the ones that really have made this business work for them. So I hope you're ready and you got your pen and everything, and we will get started. And our first speaker tonight is a woman from South Africa. She used to be a business analyst and her husband is a business owner and entrepreneur. And she wanted to get out of corporate life and to gain back her freedom again. And now she's helping other people, building her business with balance and enjoying to add value to other people by showing them the greatness of this business. So are you ready? Let's get started for Pauline Visser from South Africa. Welcome.
Good morning, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. I've missed the energy of being in a room with a lot of you, and I really feel grateful to be part of Network 21 by the end of this weekend. If you're new, you'll know exactly why, because they've put this function together for us. And then there's also our other partnership that I'm really, really proud of, and that is the Amway partnership. But my job today is to just run through how you can get started in this business. And I know that I'm talking to different groups of people. If you're here and you really want to get started, this is the first time you're listening to a talk like this, then and then there's people that don't even know if they want to be here. Welcome. I've personally had so many benefits apart from the money that the company pays, just a whole lot of other benefits just from being in the room. And I hope that by the end of this weekend, you'll know whether you do want to get started. And then some of you are thinking, not another court talk, please God, I'm so sorry if you know all of this, but maybe it's time to get restarted. You can make that decision, by the end of this weekend. So if you want to get started in this business, there's a couple of fabulous resources that we have available. As Ken so wonderfully positioned the Network 21 system, you don't have to do this on your own, and we actually suggest that you don't. One of those resources is a starting point booklet, and I've got limited time, so I'm just going to run through 1 or 2 pages that I want to highlight for you. But you definitely need a starting point booklet, because that is a recipe. It's like baking a cake. Doesn't matter whether you want to bake a chocolate cake or a vanilla cake, the basic recipe stays the same. But there's different flavors, because each one of you might have a different point of entry. Maybe your focus is health, maybe your focus is the skincare, maybe your focus is all the products because you just want to make money. That's certainly where I was when I started in the business. I didn't care what the products were. I just wanted to make money and get out of the corporate world. That's fine. There's a recipe for you, because some of the elements always stays the same. If you want a different flavor, you need a coach to help you, to guide you through this booklet or the process of getting started. Page 9 of the starting point booklet is important, and I just call this, it's called an activity loop, but I call it the onboarding of networking, the onboarding process of networking. Every system has got a process to get you onboarded. These are the skill sets that you, in your career in this business, these are the skill sets that you're most probably going to have to get good at, and these are the only skill sets that you must probably have to get really, really good at in activities. So make sure that the person, that you just spend some time on that page and you get to equip yourself. The other resource that I forgot to mention, and Ken also positioned that for you, was the mobile app. There's just so much resources on that mobile app that our aim here in a short period of time is just to be like traffic cops and just point you to those resources. And they will cover each one of these steps in detail, much better than I can on the limited time that I have with you today. The page that I want to spend a little bit time on is page 24, and that is the success habits. You've heard about, how Network 21 was founded and came about. Many years and years of research in over 100 countries, and there's a differentiator between people that's successful and people that's unsuccessful. And what differentiates them is their habits, their success habits, and we call it core. And there's only 7 steps there. We can help you with a lot of it, and with a lot of it you're going to have to make a decision to just follow. But it really is a very simple system, but it's not obvious. People miss it because it is so simple. If you follow the success habits, that's the first block on the screen, the result will be pace setter. And that is a monthly goal that we challenge you to follow, and we suggest if you can do that for a period of time, we can actually guarantee your success. You just have to be consistent and not stop-start for a period of time and be open for input and counseling. We can guide you through that process. And then the last block of that screen is a control sheet. We have a saying, ink it, don't think it. And the reason for that is you can be very busy with this business doing nothing, just like anything in life. The only thing that's going to move your business forward is if you expose people to this business. And if you can track that, the end of the month, if you feel that you haven't moved forward or it doesn't work, which is something that I hear often, I think for myself, this was a wake-up call at the last weekend seminar when someone did a talk similar to this, and I just thought, let's just get honest with each other here. If you want to be a leader, you've got to do the things of a leader. If you want to be an Amway business owner and make money through Amway, you've got to do what it involves to make money in Amway. You can talk about it, you can think about it, you can, dress it up as much as you want, but, there's certain things you have to do, and that is to expose people to the business. And when I checked, and I was brutally honest with myself, I realized, but, I haven't really been very focused on doing the things that it does to move forward in the business. And that's why we suggest, if you measure anything in this business, every month look at the man or the woman in the mirror and say, well, is this what I'm doing? Am I moving my business forward? So I want to just run very briefly through the 7 habits of core. But one of the first habit of core is to actually expose 8 people to this business. There's different ways of exposing people. You might want to, I'm a one-on-one personal type of person, so I like to speak to people face to face, but there's many ways that you can skin a cat. You are going to sit with a coach and you're going to discuss which way. But we also have a weekly preview where someone else runs through a Zoom, or maybe you have a physical get-together, or maybe you're just someone that says, hey, every Saturday I get together with a group of ladies anyway for whatever, or I have a group of men that we chat to, and I'm just going to run through this business with them. And that's also very successful when you have a small group setting where you just run through. But the bottom line is you have to get into a habit and into a rhythm. It's about developing habits, something that you can do continuously, so that even when you don't feel like it, you just habitually do it. And we suggest 8 plans or 8 exposures in a month is what will move you forward, get you going in the business. That's the base habit. But we also know that momentum really comes when you show at least 15 plans, so about 4 a week. So for those of you that are wanting fast results, that's what we suggest. You've got to, come on guys, the only way we make money is through products. We don't make money through people joining the business. That helps you nothing. You want them to use the products. The products are fabulous. And when you start using the products yourself, you will agree with me that there isn't another skincare range that does what this one do. There isn't another roll-on and a deodorant, It sounds stupid to talk about little things like that, but it is just a fabulous product when you use it. Nobody can tell me that the washing powder is expensive, because I write the date for years now. I have pictures on my phone. I have a folder, my product folder, and I write every time I replace my 3 kg washing powder, which is maybe once a 3 to 4 months. Depends on how many of the boys are home. We're a big family. Very big, dirty family, but all boys. But I write the date that I replace that container, and I take a picture of it, and I show that to people, and I say, really, do you think it's expensive? Look at this. Look how long it lasts me. And smell. I don't smell bad, so it works as well. But just use it for two reasons. Number one, you want to be authentic. I'm not a great salesperson, but I've got lots of words, as you can hear. But when I'm convicted of something, I love talking about it. If I'm convinced of something, if it's in my heart, if I've experienced it, then I can talk about it. Then I don't feel like I'm selling anything to someone. I feel like I'm adding value. But I have to feel that I'm authentic in what I do. The second step is I always, I don't know where I heard this, but there's a saying that belief is a poor substitute for experience. You can believe in the product and you can read the features and benefits and you can memorize all of that, but it doesn't come close, because then you have to remember facts. It doesn't come close to experiencing something in life. Completely different point. We then also suggest that just as a goal, you should do about 100 points. It's not a requirement to do 100 points every month, but later on in the business, if you want to qualify for all the discounts and trips and bonuses, if you can get that habit going of doing about 100 points, that becomes very duplicatable. And it's just so much easier to roll out the system, because we only make money through the products that move through our business. Now, for some of you, you might say, well, I'm a single guy, I live with my parents, I'm a student. Well, we suggest that you start developing a little bit of a customer base to help you with that. You don't have to become this massive retailer, because that is not necessarily our strategy. Our onboarding strategy is to build a network of consumers, because it's so much more scalable than just your own consumption or the 5 people that you can service every month or the 10 people that you can service. It's so much better when you can build a huge network of people consuming the products. So for that reason, you always want to think about what is someone else looking, when someone else looks at me, what do they see me do? And can they duplicate it? It makes planning in this business a lot easier if you've got that habit going in your business. We also suggest that you join our continued education program. Ken spoke about that. And I want to read something to you. When I read this many years ago, but the editor of Success magazine wrote an article where he said that over his 20 years of being in that role, he had the privilege of interviewing the most successful people in the world, the super wealthy, he calls them, not millionaires, billionaires. He got to interview the Bill Gates and, all those guys. And he said it was a very interesting thing, because he noticed two things that they all have in common. The one thing is they all had a clearly defined goal that they looked at every day. And the second thing is they were all committed to some form of continued education program or system. He then looked for statistical evidence, and this is what he found. He found that 88, and this was on a different study, 88% of the super wealthy reads every day. 63% of the super wealthy listens to an audio every day or a teaching every day. Of the poor, 2% read and 3% was open to listen to something. So where do you want to slot in? Do you want the habits of the super wealthy, or do you want the habits of the poor? You see, bad habits are so easy to engage in, but they're really hard to live with later on in your life. It's hard to be poor. Good habits are not that easy to develop, but they're so easy to live with later. And it's always a decision where you fit in when it comes to that. When I joined this business, someone gave me a CD. It's many years ago, about 20 years ago. Someone gave me a CD, and it was someone's story. And before I listened to it, I thought to myself, I come from a very constipated corporate background. The more successful you are, the more constipated you've got to look and be, and, because you're serious and you make serious money. I don't know if you can relate. So a meeting with music like this was a big no-no. It couldn't be serious, it couldn't make money, because it's just too much fun. Fun wasn't a word that chemical engineers understand, and I worked with a whole lot of them. Sorry, Ken. But engineers are a species on their own. So where am I? I'm distracting myself. Oh yeah, someone gave me a CD. And they said, this is a story, you need to listen to this guy's story. I thought, why would I want to listen to someone else's story? I want to make money. I don't care what's your story. That's where I was when I started. And when I listened to it, it just impacted me so much. Years later, I read that the best form of adult education is narrative learning. Do you know what someone's story is? It's data with a soul. It's so much easier to retrieve when you can remember a data, and I believe that's the reason why Jesus never gave an answer. He told a parable. Told a story for you to explain something and to go and think about it. Very powerful. And then the next habit, of course, to listen to one audio and read 15 minutes a day. I read you the statistics. The only reason you need to do that is because you need to make a choice. Do I want to be super wealthy or do I want to be poor? That's the reason why I would suggest you start engaging in that habit. And then we say attend all functions. Why do you want to attend all functions? Well, you become like the people you associate with. And this is most probably one of the things that's the easiest to negotiate. And for Tom and I, our faith is really important to us. You don't have to ask our children, what do we do on a Sunday morning? We go to church. You don't have to ask us, are we going to church? Do we have to get up early? No, it's a habit in our home. It's not negotiable. We made that decision once when we got married. These are the rules of engagement, and this is the way that we want to lead our life. And I don't want my children to believe the way that I believe. I want them to experience why I believe the way that I believe. And that's why we know as parents we need to have that habit so that our children can follow in that and they never have to worry. It gives structure when you make the decision once and you then just, push through with that. And that's how we approached functions in this business. We made the decision that we will attend the functions, and especially a function like this, because it's you might not remember everything that you hear, but it's just feeding your soul. There's just things that happens that's magical when you're in a function like this. And again, as I said, belief is a poor substitute for experience. When you're immersed in something and you experience it, you can actually talk to people with a different conviction. And then become a team player. There's 3 steps or 3 things that you need to focus on. Counseling. I don't like that word because it feels like it's, something bad, like psychological counseling or something that people run away from. And it's actually such an amazing principle to just say that I'm taking input from other people, and it's actually mentorship. And you just want to be accountable to someone, and you want someone to take your hand, and you also want someone to be a reflection of your blind spot. I have many counselors in life in different areas of my life. When we go to gym, we have a trainer. That's the person that I'm going to counsel with, not necessarily someone that's going to counsel me on the business. For other areas, you have other counselors. In the business, my mentor is Miranda. I speak to her weekly. We don't necessarily speak about the business, but we just have a rule. One of us must always be up. We've done life together. We've gone through some difficult times. And there's times when you can hear your upline and you go, maybe they need encouragement today. There's a concept. It's not just about speaking to someone to be encouraged. And through that, you will forge such a powerful friendship as well, which will add a lot of value to your life. But I'm seeing Nasima, so this is not in my notes, but a while ago, just after COVID, I didn't realize that I was becoming really negative, and I didn't realize what was coming out of my mouth. And she had a meeting with me, and she said to me, Pauline, I've known you for 20 years. This is not you. Do you know what a wake-up call that was? I didn't want to hear that. I thought, I don't know if I like you. But I drove home and I made a decision and I phoned my husband, and then I got a flat tire. So seriously, God, someone's talking to me. My tire was flat. Got stuck next to the road, but I have a husband, so it's his problem. He just sorted it out in a flash for me. But I needed that reflection from Nasima, that honest reflection to say, this is not you. I don't know you like this. Anyway, that's why counseling is important. Edification is a principle where we uplift each other, and we're just looking for the beauty. We're looking for the gold in other people all the time. It's most probably the one principle. We're part of a blended family, and I can honestly tell you that and the books the habit of reading books about wherever your life is at is a habit that I learned in this business. Is most probably the reason I don't have issues and challenges in this blended family. It's just I have stepsons who feel like I cannot believe that I did not birth them. They give me so much pain sometimes. But these boys were birthed out of my heart, but just the things that I learned in this business By the way, yesterday I sat with our middle son, and someone came, two people actually made comments. The one person, Mark Joffe, came to me and he looked at this guy sitting next to me and he greeted him and he said, "We thought Tom had lost a lot of weight." But it's his hairstyle that's similar to his dad's hairstyle. The older one is actually Tom's little mini-me, and they're both, yeah, they're gorgeous. If you see me with gorgeous men, girls, then Subi's on the table over there. I want to know your blood type as well. But I am so blessed because of these guys, and now I'm getting off track again. So that's edification. And then no cross-lining. It's just the rules of engagement in our business. How do we engage with other people's businesses? How do we respect other people's businesses? Also, another principle that you most probably want to spend time on understanding. Just a life principle that will change your life. So much more value than just money here. And then lastly, I want to end off by just chatting to you about what is a habit. These are just habits, and it's a decision whether you want to follow that or not. But at the last weekend seminar, and the habits will help you to move forward even when you feel like you failed. I had a goal at the last weekend seminar to also do 10 plus. One of my downline did that and I was so annoyed that I didn't do it. I did 7 plus. But it still gets you in action to move forward. But I want to talk to those of you that were at the last weekend seminar, and you're at this weekend seminar and you're looking at your business and you're thinking, this thing ain't moving. You know what? You can look at a problem in your life, or you can look at a product, you can talk about it, you can blame load shedding, you can blame the country, the president, Raj, Amway, Network 21. You can do whatever you want to do when you look at this product. But the product is not the problem. If you want to change a product, you need to change the pattern behind the product. It doesn't take a lot of leadership skills to define a problem. It doesn't take a lot of leadership in you to tell everybody what the problem is here. What does make a huge difference if you can perceive the pattern behind the problem, and you can look at that. You are where you are because of the decisions you've made in life. And that's again just saying, well, do I want to live a life of duplicity? Am I really honest with where I'm at and the actions that I'm taking? You cannot blame a tree for its fruit. Maybe the questions that you need to ask is, what is the seeds that I've sown in this period, or what is the seeds that I watered or didn't water? And it's the same in life. You can't change a relationship if you're not prepared, a strained relationship, if you're not prepared to sow some kinder words into that relationship. You cannot change the place that your kids are at if you're not prepared to have the courage to sow, maybe some behavioral discipline into that relationship, or maybe you need to sow some TLC or some encouragement into them. You can't change your work when you're not prepared to change your work ethic, and you cannot change and move your business forward if you are not prepared to engage in the activities of core, because that is the success habits, and that's what will move your business forward. Getting back to perceiving the problem behind, the pattern behind the problem. I'll give you an example. I'm not a morning person. My husband's not a morning person. Our one son gets up at like 4 in the morning and he leaves work for 5, and he greets us very quietly. He is a phlegmatic, so he'll just say goodbye very quietly, because we're not morning people, okay? So you get it. We don't like getting up early in the morning. Then I read this thing. There's that saying by someone famous that early to bed, early to rise makes a man wealthy, happy, and wise. Put up your hand if you don't want to be healthy, happy, and wise. Okay? So we all want to be healthy, happy, and wise. So we have to get early to bed and early to rise. So how do you bring those two things together? Because the problem is I'm not a morning person. That's not the problem. Can I tell you what the problem... Oh, this is the other thing I read. Someone said, I follow this lady on... I was going to say Twitter, but it's the other one, Instagram. I follow this lady on Instagram, and she's an amazing leadership guru, and she asked this question the other day. She says, what does Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Jack Dorsey, the guy from Twitter, and the one from Starbucks, Howard Schultz, I think, what do they all have in common? And what do they attribute or credit their productivity for? Their morning routine and their intentional habits early in the morning. So now I have this problem. I'm not a morning person, but I'm saying change the pattern. It's not the problem that's a problem. Do you know what our problem is in the morning? our nighttime routine. That's the habit, that's the problem that's creating us not to be morning people, because I don't drink enough water during the day, and then I start drinking all this water because I have this challenge with my kidneys, so I start drinking water, and then I pee all night long. I do not sleep. I'm awake until 12 o'clock. Tom doesn't go to bed until 12 o'clock. We just have really, really bad nights. We drink too much coffee at night. Bad nighttime, that's the pattern underneath the problem of I'm not a morning person. But I want to be healthy, wealthy, and wise. You're not stuck if you're prepared to change. Anyway, here's another thing that is so scary, and apart from my time running out. Your habits will become your legacy. This was an absolute wake-up call for me, because I love these boys so much, and I really want them to be well-adjusted, amazing human beings, which they really are already. But think about your habits as a parent. That will become your legacy. What will your children say about you? Will they say that my dad drank too much? Will they say that my mom was always angry? Will they say that, my father was stuck on technology, all he did was watch rugby and lie in front of the TV? Will they say, what will you say? What do you say? Can you recognize some bad habits in people that you love dearly? You see, a great heart, you can have the best intentions in the world. You can have the best heart towards your children. But a great heart with bad habits, a great heart will never overpower, and a great intention will never overpower the bad habit in your life. You will still be remembered. Loved my mom or loved my dad, but he drank too much. That is a nugget that you want to write down and that you want to think about. Habits. I want to end off with the pike story. I know that a lot of you might have heard this, but the pike syndrome was just an experiment that they did in a big aquarium, where a pike is this big fish that feeds on the little fish, the minnows, and the scientists put the pike into an aquarium, and he had an invisible glass barrier, and the pike, to live and to feed, he needs to get to the minnows, and he used to bash his head so many times against this glass barrier that he eventually gave up. The scientists then removed the glass barrier, but the pike died from starvation. There was nothing preventing him from actually eating the minnows. Such an important time for us to think of that story. And I'm just thinking of people that are saying, between the last weekend seminar and this weekend seminar, what have I really accomplished? Guys, the barrier has been removed. We don't have the challenges that we had a while ago. We don't have things that prevent us from going out of our homes anymore. Yes, we might have other minor challenges, but it's stuff that we can work through. It's about your perspective. I want to end off by asking you, are you that pike? Have you bashed your head so many times against an invisible barrier that you've just decided to give up? Have you decided that you're going to die from starvation? We are in the most opportune time ever, yet I see people, so many people that are so desperate for money, but I just see them making this choice, and I'm thinking, it's an invisible barrier. Are you going to die, or are you going to thrive between now and the next weekend seminar? Because you're not stuck if you're prepared to change. Anyway, I hope that you enjoy the rest of the weekend seminar, and I know that this is going to add a lot of value to your life. Thanks.
Thank you, Pauline. That was really inspiring, and you gave us so much hope and belief, and also the recipe for this business. Thank you very much. Our next speaker is a diamond from Finland. She used to work as a market manager for the French Foreign Ministry in Helsinki when she saw this business. And she has for many years enjoyed the freedom what this business can provide. And she has an international business today, and she is going to teach us how the seminars really can help us to grow our business and to grow ourselves. So you have to be ready with a pen because she's going to give you many points on what to expect from a seminar. So please help me welcome Susanna Haneles.
Hello everybody, it's a great pleasure to be part of this Connect seminar. Thank you so much Network 21. Wow, it's springtime. I'm so happy because the winter here in Finland was very long and the snow just kept on coming. It was so cold, even -40 at a couple of times. So I'm sure this is why we, the Scandinavians, really are celebrating the 1st of May, because we are so much enjoying the arrival, finally, of the summertime. And just like the seasons, there's also a cycle in our business. That's the cycle of the Network 21 seminars that are perfectly placed in the calendar to serve us, the business owners, in the perfect way. And the most important seminars are the weekend seminars. And just in 1 month's time, we are going to have a very special one coming, namely the big Northern European free enterprise that is going to take place in June in Riga. In Riga, in Latvia, in the Baltics. You might be saying, if you are a new person, would it be worth traveling all the way to Riga for this seminar? That's a very good question. And now I'm actually going to share with you 21 points on why weekends and why this free enterprise. All right, here we go. So point number 1, the weekend seminar is eye-opening. Because if you have only seen the open plan so far, your view of this business is the same as if you would be sitting in your car and having scrubbed just a small hole on your windscreen and looking through it. If you have only seen the Connect seminar or been to a BBS, that would be equivalent of your view through your car to windscreen, but not seeing anything else in winter time, a little bit further ahead. But the weekend seminar, that's offering you the full 360-degree big vision. And it's like a convertible car. You can see all around you. You can get the big picture. And that's the amazing vision for your years ahead. And this is because at the weekend seminar, you will see, first of all, the big audience, so many people from many countries who are already doing this business, and also then on stage, dozens of persons, leaders who are sharing how they have concretely been doing this business and how they have achieved their goals. And the weekend seminar, it really is the most important tool for clearing up the big vision. Okay. And the point number 2, larger and deeper dimension. At the free enterprise, there will be speakers from many different countries, but also you will get to listen to leaders whose business expands to many other countries, to other markets, and even to other continents. So especially today, with the platforms and the apps that we are using and with the system of Network 21, this dimension, the very unique global scalability, it's available for you as well. Third point, one superstar versus numerous case studies. Because the world is full of expensive seminars with worldwide known successful speakers, superstars of their field. They can be very inspiring and motivational. Yes, that's great. But what then? Can you do what they have done? So what's really super about our seminar is that you can do what the speakers have done. And at the weekend seminar, you will get to see about 20 case studies, so to say, because all these speakers that you will see there and hear their story or the topic, they are proving, these cases are proving that this business really works for people of many different walks of life. How powerful is that? Point number 4, immunity. If you would start this business by just kind of trying it out, not being so sure of it or sure about yourself, then just a couple of no's or some doubtful or negative comments from somebody could make you quit. But the weekend seminar is like a vaccination, because there you will get the self-confidence and a kind of an immunity against any comments and opinions. And the point number 5, transforming the sofa expert. Like the old saying goes, the best experts in a football match are always on the sofa in some living room. Yes, if you are now getting to know this business and you are a little bit skeptical, no problem at all. Most of the diamonds have been very skeptical in the beginning, but they were smart enough to investigate this business. And that's absolutely the best way to be skeptical and curious and go to the weekend seminar where you can see it for yourself. And the 6th point, your future in whose hands? If your spouse is negative, a sofa expert, you cannot convince him or her. You can invite him or her in a loving and respectful way to the free enterprise by saying, I'd love to get your opinion about this business and to see together if this opportunity would help us to build a financial option for our future. And that was actually my situation in the beginning. My boyfriend was an economist at that time and quite skeptical about this business, and he was telling me that I would be just losing my time. But luckily my upline recommended me to go to a weekend seminar, and I did, because I wanted to see with my own eyes who are the people building this business and why are they doing it. And at that seminar in Germany, I saw on stage many really smart people who had even very great careers, but they had left them and instead built this business because of the freedom. And that was enough for me to be convinced. Yes. And just, just think, if I had followed my boyfriend's advice, that would have been giving my future into his hands. And I would have lost 22 years of freedom. Scary. Number 7, brilliance of Network 21. The free enterprise will also give you the most comprehensive picture of Network 21, the system, the unbelievable intellectual capital, and of the system thinking. And thanks to the Network 21, we are able to get all these great seminars with super high-level leaders, thanks to the huge Network 21 organization worldwide. And at the weekend seminar, there are different elements: the substance, the trainings, the recognitions, and the atmosphere. They are all combined for a maximum input on one weekend. And it's a little bit like an intensive course. And this is what we call the power of the weekend seminar, because it's so unique how in one weekend, in 3 days, a new person's understanding and vision and ability and trust are lifting up to a whole new level. All right, number 8, what is a diamond? Well, this business level becomes more tangible when several Diamond Plus leaders will be sharing their stories and their videos. So you get to see what the diamond lifestyle is like, and you can ladle from their huge experience. And number 9, whom will you relate to? Because yes, at this Connect there will be promotion of the guest speakers from the Philippines, but there will also be many speakers from all Northern Europe. And so you will be able to see on stage dozens of persons with very different professional backgrounds and family situations, and also different personalities, from down-to-earth, melancholic introverts to bubbly, funny extroverts. And the speeches will be some funny and some really touching. Okay, point number 10, match the faces. On the N21 mobile audios, you can listen to local and global leaders, At the weekend seminar, you will get the faces of these speakers, and you will see them on stage. So now you can match the faces to the audios, and you will get to know better about their personality and background. And this will also make it easier for you afterwards to be sending out shareables, because you know better which speaker would match your contacts. And then point number 11, level up. Thanks to the higher level of understanding of this business that you will gain at the weekend seminar, it will be so much easier for your upline to work with you, and they can help you succeed much quicker. Point number 12, goal. The weekend seminars are also very important deadlines for goals, and we are building the business from weekend seminar to weekend seminar. Could you be at the free enterprise a new VIP person, or have 10 plus or 20 plus with you, or could you help your downline to have a goal? That's really great. And point number 13, which is linked to this, that's congratulations, because if you will be reaching a new pin level, or somebody in your team will reach a new pin level, so we will be having the recognition for that and celebrating together this achievement. Point number 14, leaders meeting, aim there. By being a leaders club, or by bringing minimum 10 persons with you to the free enterprise, you will get the chance to qualify for a very, very special leaders meeting where the speaker will be the main guest speakers. That's really worth qualifying for. And point number 15, weekend seminar trip. It's an investment with a great return. Nancy Donan has said, don't think whether you can afford to go, instead think whether you can afford not to go. Maybe you would be spending about 350 to 500 euros on this weekend seminar trip, and you would think that it's a cost. But let's think small for a moment. If thanks to this weekend seminar you will be able to build a 9% Leaders Club business in just a couple of months' time, that would mean that you would be starting to get about 500 euros income per month. So that investment of going to the weekend seminar will bring you the same 500 euros back month after month, multiple times. Let's think big for a second. By going to this free enterprise now, you could start your business actively and bring new people to the autumn weekend seminar, and you would be on your way to achieving the platinum level maybe in 2 years' time. And the income of a platinum today, where the criteria are met and the structure is right, would be around 4,000 euros per month. So what do you think? Would it be worth going to the free enterprise now in June? Absolutely. Okay, number 16, 150 euros versus 24,000 euros. In case there would be some kind of another engagement that same weekend for your job, for example, please do anything to reschedule, to postpone, reorganize, whatever. And if you need to take that Friday or Saturday off from work, and you would be losing perhaps 150 euros because of that as salary, think from a bigger perspective. Because thanks to this weekend seminar, your platinum level, you could reach it 6 months earlier, and that would mean 6 times 4,000, it equals 24,000 euros gain for you. So which would have a bigger influence on your finances. And number 17, this is the most profitable time investment. Perhaps on that same weekend you would have some kind of a family event that you would miss. Think again from the bigger perspective. Once you will be reaching your financial freedom, in how many ways could you be helping your family in some needs with your time and your resources in the future? And very important also, knowing how quickly the robots the blockchain and the artificial intelligence are developing right at this moment, taking over more and more jobs. So I'm so sure that you and your family will be very happy that you are a visionary person and quickly developing your own plan B. Yes. And point number 18, children, obstacle or reason. Having children, it's not an obstacle in building our business, not at all. It's the contrary. They are the very important reason to build it and to create more time for them. But also at the seminar, the age limit is 18, so the best place for the children is safe at home. And point number 19, business and pleasure in Riga. So if you are a couple, the weekend seminar is a really nice trip, a break from the everyday routines and precious one-on-one time. And it will be so nice for the two of you to experience the free enterprise together. You get both the big picture, you can share the feelings, you can feel the atmosphere together and sharing the excitement, and then talking over about your new dreams over a nice dinner at the beautiful Riga Old Town. That sounds really lovely, doesn't it? Yes, and point number 20. The weekend seminar trip is a package, and the best and the most fun way to travel there is with the team. And you will get to know your team better and build new relationships there. And remember to take photos of your very first weekend seminar together with the team at this very cool free enterprise venue. And the last point, number 21, to sum it up, core. Yes, because the weekend seminar is the most important part of our core concept, and a core person attends all seminars, first of all for himself or herself, but then also to bring new team members into the system. And our motto is work smart, not hard. And this says it all, because application is the key for the long-term success and for the freedom in our business. All right, so those were the 21 points on why weekends. People who come to their first weekend seminar, they often ask, but why do all these people here look so happy? And the answer to that could be because the weekend seminar is like the 1st of May. How come? Well, it's because people who find themselves in the long tunnel of working life until the age of 70, where the retirement, the freedom is like a small light at the end of this long tunnel, and all of a sudden they arrive to this splendid place where people are joyfully celebrating the freedom that they can find already in 2 to 5 years' time. So it's happiness, like at the 1st of May, after the long winter, here is the happiness after this long tunnel to getting this super opportunity to create a different kind of life. And we are enjoying this energy and this joy together. Yes, but how could we invite the new persons to the weekend seminar? Actually, our upline founders, Double Diamond Sisi Suhar, just told a great advice to this, and she is actually tailoring her invitation to match the new person's own life situation. And when a person asks her what this seminar is about, she will then for example, tell them that it's about how to create a good balance between work and private life, or it's for people who have a positive look towards the future and who are solution-oriented, or it's about beauty inside and outside, or it's for those who are looking for personal development that will help with relationships both at work and at home, or it's for those who want to age well, stay active and fit. All these topics we can find at the Free Enterprise in Riga. Yes, so actually, I don't know the most valuable reason why you should go to the Free Enterprise. You don't know it either. Maybe you will find it out right after it, maybe much later. So my first weekend seminar was in summer 1999 in Germany, and thanks to that weekend seminar I got the idea how genius this business really was, and I started to build it by the side of my job. And thanks to this business I was able to leave my position as the marketing manager for the French Foreign Ministry 3.5 years later. And thanks to this financial freedom, I was able to take the adoption process abroad, where I had to either leave for 1 year, and I was able to get my lovely daughter, who at that time was 5 years old. So I found my most valuable reason why it was worth going to the weekend seminar 15 years later. And as it happens today, exactly today, my daughter turns 15. So which wonderful and super precious blessing are you going to find thanks to your first weekend seminar, the Free Enterprise in Riga? Maybe you will know it in 2039, hopefully earlier. But it has been said that a person has or is taking 35,000 decisions in his head every day. 35,000 decisions every day. So let today one of those decisions be of significance for your future. And let that be the decision to come to the Free Enterprise in Riga in June. So I'm inviting you to hop on the plane, hop on the ship, hop on the bus, or hop on even on a convertible if you like, and come to Riga. Take with you the persons that you are caring for. Come there and enjoy together the fresh breeze of freedom at the Free Enterprise. See you there. Take care. All the best. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Susanna. That was really inspiring and great information, both for ourselves, but also to know what to say to others when we can invite more people to come along to the weekend seminars. That was great. We are soon going to have a break, but I just want to say that you have to save the date for the next Network 21 Connect meeting, which is July 13th. The 13th of July, there will be another event like this, and we are going to have another legend of this business, and it's Angie Summers from Australia. She has a huge international business with businesses in over 30 countries, and she started really young as a secretary, and she just wanted one thing: to get rid of the 6 o'clock alarm. So maybe we can all feel that feeling sometimes, that we would like to get rid of that. So save the date for the 13th of July, and time for a break. You can have an excess or a coffee and just relax a little bit, and see you soon again.
going to talk about edification, counseling, and no cross-lining. Just going to do my best in trying to share with you in a very simplistic way what these principles are and how to apply them.
The business is easier than it has ever been to build right now. Okay? I'm going to talk to you today as somebody in the zone and in the living rooms, okay? Every day.
Level up our leadership to grow our business.
Everyone, greetings from Manila, Philippines. In August of 1996, I sat in a room with about 25 people, and the agenda had nothing to do with our business. But at the end of that meeting, a 22-year-old entered the room and talked about this opportunity opening in the Philippines for 5 minutes. At the end, he asked if anyone was interested and wanted more information, and only one hand went up, and that was my hand. You see, that 5 minutes changed the course of our financial future and the quality of life for my family. Fast forward almost 30 years, June 2024, there's a weekend seminar happening in Latvia. And we are going to be speaking. And it's not going to be 5 minutes, it's going to be a whole weekend of inspiration and motivation and information and belief building. It could be totally life-changing. And you can bring as many people to have this experience, this life-changing event. We can't wait to see you and meet you all as we share our stories and our journey to the Founders Diamond level and going beyond. And we are so excited. But right now, I want you to hear from my business partner, second generation, Brian.
We are unbelievably excited to be with you guys and share our excitement, our stories, our journey, and we're also there to learn. But if you want to make the most out of what's going to happen, please bring as many people as you can. Your friends, your coworkers, people that you know could really benefit from this phenomenal business opportunity. They're just one question away. And we're going to have a blast, we're going to party, we're going to celebrate success and build belief so that you can build your business to the next big level. So we're very excited and we're going to see you there in Latvia.
See you there.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome back from the break. I hope you're refreshed and ready for the next part of this evening. It's going to be great. It's a unique experience, actually, because you are going to listen to Jim Dornan, the founder of Network 21. He and his wife, Nancy, started the business in 1970, and they have huge experience and a huge business. And Network 21 has digged deep down in the archives and found this excellent speech from Jim. He's going to teach us about balance, and you really need to write everything down and go back and listen again, because you are actually listening to the core of this business now. So everyone, are you ready for Jim Dornan?
As we kind of move into the weekend and we kind of start thinking about how do we move forward, another one of the big buzzwords these days, and it's not a new buzzword for Network 21, is balance. When we get out of balance, that's when things don't seem to work very well. And I don't know, it's kind of like, rowing a boat across the lake. We used to talk about that years ago. It really helps if you row at the same time with both oars. When you row with one oar or the other, you tend to go in a circle and you don't get anywhere. Or it's real hard to go straight with only one oar. And in this business, or in life probably, balance is something we always have to remind ourselves to seek a place of coming back to a center, coming back to something that, when you get over here and you get off course a little bit, you drift back, but you don't want to overcompensate. Have you ever seen a new driver? Because every now and then I go out in the golf cart with Ashley Kate, and she loves to drive the golf cart. At 5, 6, 7 years old, you love to drive, and but she's like so many little kids, overconfident a little bit. I can do it, and it's funny. She'll get in there, and the little golf cart will start to drift out into the street, and then I'll say, turn back the other way, but she always overdoes it. She always goes back too fast, and she's going back. Then she knows it back the other way, and then back the other way, and it's just one of these kind of deals. And you think, why can't they figure out if they just do a little bit less, they can kind of straighten it out? But I guess at that young age, that's not as easy as we might think. And then again, I think, well, who am I kidding? I know adults that can't figure that out. Not in driving usually, although there are a few of those too. But normally in business and in life, when people recognize something's over here, they go way over here to make up for it. And they create an equal problem in the opposite direction. And so we're always seeking those areas of balance. So I wrote down a few things that just to get you to think about that we need to balance. And the first one I wrote down, and I could write down 20, but I wrote down 6 just to kind of get us started today. Because I think we're going to do a lot more in this series of balance, because there's a lot of areas that if we balance them right, we will become more successful than if we don't. And the first one I wrote down is the balance between learning and doing. Learning and doing is a balance all the time. One of the problems we have when we first come into the business is people, they often want to do before they learn. They want to do before they get the right information, before they do the right preparation. But there's other people that they just want to learn forever and they never want to do. They become perpetual students. They perpetual professional procrastinators. And maybe some of you are in this room. Don't raise your hand. And sometimes that's because some people have a certain perfectionist sort of style. They want to have all the answers and everything right before they step out and take a chance. And some of that is good, by the way. It's part of having integrity, is not charging out and telling people something's great until you've done at least a little bit of research, until you have a reason to actually feel like you have a right to say that. But, at some point, folks, we got to get out there and do something. You can't just stand around and try to read the books forever. You get out into life, you get out and get some real experience. The only way you're ever going to make anything happen is to get out and do something. But the balance in Network 21's teaching is put some balance. Do at least some learning. To have enough respect for the people that are successful to say, maybe there's some things that aren't obvious to me that would be good for me to do first. Maybe there's a way to invite people that works better than the way I think I should invite people. I can tell you that probably the most frustrating thing for us as leaders is how hard it is to get new people to do what we suggest they do when they call their friends. Almost every new person looks at you like a deer caught in the headlights when you tell them that it might be a good idea not to share too many details before we've got them together in a place where we can really present the plan professionally. Might not be a real good idea to talk too much. Just concentrate on setting the appointment, and then we'll disclose, the details. Where in an environment where we can give them the best chance of making the right decision. And people look and nod and smile, and in the back of their mind they go, no, my friends are different. I'm not going to do that. And then what happens isn't the end of the world. What happens is they just potentially cost their friends a lot of money, because it might take a long time before that friend eventually comes back and takes a look at a business that they would have loved initially, but they were scared off by too much information by someone who didn't really know what they were doing. So we try to protect new people by giving them some techniques, by giving them some principles, and by taking them by the hand and helping them do the first few presentations if at all possible. That's part of learning. We call it an apprentice step. If you're an active person and you have the good fortune to be in part of an active team that's being built, you're actually going to get some contributions made to your business, providing you're willing to do a few certain things. So you can actually have your business starting to grow when you really have contributed very little yet. And don't mistake that, and be very careful that you don't take too much credit for what happens in the first few months or even year or so in this business, because most people overestimate their contribution to their own success and underestimate the contribution made by the team and the environment and the upline and the experience that's been made available to them at basically no charge. The mentoring that's available, the experience that's available, the strategies that are laid out for you are laid out by people with experience that have a vested interest in your success. And it would be very wise not only to listen so that you don't waste a lot of time and money making the same mistakes that we've all made and we're trying to help you to avoid, but you want to be also a little bit careful that you don't get overconfident in the beginning thinking that just because you had a little success that you don't need to learn anything anymore. Anyway, I don't know if that's even going to resonate with anybody here, but it's like one of those big frustrations leaders have in the privacy of their room is like, if we could only get Mary and John to do this instead of this. Not for so only our sake, but because, those of us who really love this business, we don't want Mary and John to fail for the wrong reasons. We don't mind if people fail because they don't have a desire big enough or they're not willing to work. That kind of failure is all over the place, and it's not, I can't change that. But failure to succeed simply because they failed to listen and had a predictably bad experience that we might have been able to help them avoid, that's when we feel like it's our fault. And we kind of carry that burden a little bit. Now, recently, Ashley Kate, when she comes over to my house, she always likes to go out and play golf. Not really golf, but, we live on a golf course in Atlanta, so when the sun's kind of getting low and the golfers are kind of slowing down, we'll go and walk out the back of the house, and we'll walk out onto the 18th fairway, and we'll take a couple of clubs and a few golf balls. And, I got a little bit of this melancholy part of me, and I'm all excited about teaching her how to hold the swing, and, I think this is going to be real cute. But the interesting thing is, and typical of a 5, 6, 7-year-old, right? What's the nonstop thing out of a little kid's mouth when you try to teach them something? I know, I can do it. And I'm thinking, where do they get that in their DNA? I know. And she doesn't want me to show her how to hold it. She doesn't want me to. And here, it's kind of one of these. Bam, like that, or she'll swing and miss the ball by, this much. And then after about 20 tries, she'll connect with the ball and hit it. And she figures, well, I really don't need any lessons now. Look what I just did. And I love it, really. I have a ball, but I can't help it. I'm out there thinking about all the IBOs that I'm working with that are just like her. I know. Just realize one of the reasons we have the educational system we have is we already know that's going to happen to you when you're trying to lead the people you've recruited. We know you're going to eventually come to the conclusion there are certain things that people should do if they're going to succeed, and when they don't listen to you, you're going to want to tear your hair out in frustration, especially if they're friends or family that you love and care about and they won't listen to you. Well, yes, get used to it. Your friends and family are not going to listen to you because they know you too well. They know that you're not an expert in everything. They may love you, but that doesn't mean they think they should take business advice from you, which is one of the reasons we work together as a team, so that you can introduce people that aren't sure you know what you're talking about, and you can give credibility to someone who they're suspicious might actually know what they're talking about. And the interesting thing is, no matter who they ask, if they've been built this business successfully, they're going to give the same advice. The same advice comes out of the mouth of all successful people because they've all learned what works and what doesn't work. And eventually, if you hold enough meetings and build enough group, you're going to figure out, how it works and how it doesn't work. And you'll go, that's interesting how smart those materials were. The materials weren't smart. They just reflected what everybody who's built the business has figured out. It's kind of like political pollsters. They go out and call 600 people, 1,000 people, 1,500 people, and they tell you exactly what's going to happen in the election. Doesn't that kind of fascinate you, kind of drive you nuts? There's a certain number that is all you need, and you're not going to get any more surprises. You go out and show this plan to 20, 30 people, you're not going to get any new surprises with number 40, 50, and 60. You put a group of a few hundred people together, and you're going to already know what works, what doesn't work, why people succeed, why people fail. You don't know it now, but when you get a group of a few hundred people, you got a big enough sample that you're never going to be surprised again about why people succeed and why they don't. You will have observed enough people in enough different circumstances, and you'll go, okay, I get it. Now that isn't, you haven't got all your problems solved. Now you're going to learn how to deal with the fact that now that you get it, you can't figure out why they don't get it. So you got to deal with that. So we have separate meetings for leaders, for therapy for leaders, to try to keep you from bursting into flames once you figure out what the secret is and you can't get anybody to listen to you. Well, hey, you didn't listen to us either. That's just part of the way it works, okay? Anyway, so there's a time for all of that. There's some basics you need to learn. It's like in skiing. You got to learn how to stand up and put the skis on. You got to learn how to turn, and you got to learn how to stop. If you've ever taken a ski lesson, once you know how to turn and stop, you can go on any mountain you want. You'll be okay. But if you don't know how to stop and turn, it is a very bad idea to go to the top of the mountain. Because you can get in some very serious trouble if you don't know how to stop and you don't know how to turn. Well, in this business, there's not a whole lot to learn, folks. If you know how to show the plan and you know how to place a few orders, you know how to get people started, answer a few basic questions, most of the rest of it, is other aspects of life, of leadership and communication and persistence and overcoming fears and discouragement. And, well, that's a lifelong battle. But the business is simple, okay? So keep it simple. But have a little bit of respect for the teachers and the experience, but don't overcomplicate it. Get out and just swing the bat a little bit. Get up on the skis, swing the golf club, get a feel for it. So what if it doesn't work out very well? The next one will be a little bit better. And number 2 I wrote down is balance between being optimistic and being realistic. And what I want to do there is just say to you that there's a time and a place, and it's important that we're cast vision and we're optimistic with people, and we get them excited about what's possible in the business. The business is simple. You can do it. You can make some money. What are your dreams? That is important, but it's also important for us as leaders, and I'm going to talk to you all as though you're either a leader now or you will be as soon as you recruit one person. You're a leader. That's another challenge in this business. You're constantly going back between student and teacher, leader and follower, learner and doer. I mean, this is a constant shifting back and forth. But there comes a point when you start to become a leader where we have a responsibility to manage people's expectations. If we make people think they're going to be successful without any effort, then they will soon find out that that's not the case. And they will be angry and sometimes quit, and they probably should because they've been promised something that isn't realistic. On the other hand, I watch some leaders who are too realistic. They feel like it's their job to tell everybody everything the first 15 minutes are with them. People don't need to know how hard it is before they've had their first meeting. That's not intelligent posture. It's not honest to sit down with someone and tell them how hard it is and how few people go diamond. That's not honest. It's stupid. But it's also not honest to suggest that everybody goes diamond or, that there's no problem. So we got to be a balance between optimistic and realistic. We have to take responsibility for telling people the truth about what they need to do and how it's going to work, but at the right time and place. Just like as parents, we have a responsibility to teach people about life, our kids about life, but not when they're 3. We don't teach them every lesson about life when they're 3. There comes a time when each lesson is appropriate, and with new IBOs, we give them what they need to get to the next step, and then it's like Nancy getting directions. I love women. Women are so cute the way they get directions. And Nancy, if she wants to get directions somewhere, I watched her one day. She's driving, she rolled down the window because I don't like to get directions. That male ego thing. Then I might not be able to get the credit for finding it. See, I'm guilty of the same things I do seminars on why you shouldn't do. But anyway, I don't ask for directions. So Nancy rolled down the window and said, "How do I get to so and so?" And the guy go, "Well, you go down here 2 blocks, and then you turn right, and you go." She go, "Whoop, oh, that's enough." I said, "What was that?" She says, "That's all I need." He said, "Go down 3 blocks here and turn right." And I said, "Yeah, but then what?" She says, "Then I'll ask somebody else." She says, "I don't want to retain all that information about where you go from here and over here, and watch the telephone pole and the sign over here and the Kentucky Fried Chicken and the whatever." No. 3 blocks, turn right. That's enough. Anybody in here relate to that? If you're not a leaders club, you need to know how to go leaders club. You don't need to know how to go Crown Ambassador. Well, those are different skills than you need as to how to get to leaders club. And when you need them, there'll be somebody there to teach it to you. When the student's ready, the teachers appear. Number 3, the balance between marketing and duplicating. A simpler old-fashioned way to say it is the balance between selling and sponsoring. There's a marketing side of this business that's really, really important. But there's also an opportunity side, a recruiting side, that helps us to get excited about the bigness and the freedom that's available from building a network of people that are succeeding, and the compensation plan from this company can give us an amazing amount of income and lifestyle if we help enough other people succeed in a few multiple legs. I say that because you can help all the people you want to succeed in one leg and you won't make any money. So you need to understand the plan. But if you help a lot of people succeed in 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 different teams, there's a lot of money in this business. The duplicating, the recruiting side is the part that gives us energy and excitement because it's where we can share the dream of opportunity and success with other people. But we can't forget that we have to put some volume in the circles. We have to move some product because that's how we get paid. If you haven't figured this out yet, the corporation does not pay us when we recruit somebody. They only pay us when the person we recruit actually orders product or sells product or creates volume. And this is no different between us and other companies, by the way. I mean, anytime you get one way or the other, like you think of the big companies like the Walmarts or the McDonald's or the Starbucks or whatever. Aren't they always looking for ways to get more sales per store? Have you read about what McDonald's is doing right now? They're putting coffee bars in the McDonald's. Some of them have fireplaces and like stone floors and whatever. Why would they do that? Because Starbucks is a real successful entity, and people are gathering all over the world in Starbucks. We're showing a plan in Starbucks. We're doing interviews in Starbucks for jobs. We're doing first dates are in Starbucks. Everything happens in Starbucks these days, right? So McDonald's is scratching their head going, gee whiz, why aren't we in that game? So they're starting to upscale some of the McDonald's. They're calling them some kind of, a bistro or something, and they're putting fireplaces and floors and, upscale coffee and whatever. And Starbucks, I was reading an article in the paper a couple of days ago, they're in a panic. Because for the first time in their history, their sales have declined a little bit. They might have made a mistake because they started putting some food in their stores, trying to increase the sales per store, and they discovered that when people go into a Starbucks, they don't want to smell sandwiches, they want to smell coffee. And they're beginning to wonder, oh, maybe we got out of balance here. Maybe we went over this way too far. We got sandwiches, we're going to maybe back off on the sandwiches. But you can't forget what business you're in. And the founder of Starbucks years ago, Schultz, said, we're not in the coffee business serving people. We're in the people business serving coffee. They got to remember what business they're in. They create environments for people. That was what started Starbucks. The visit by Schultz to Italy to see how people built social communities around the local espresso coffee houses and how that was part of their culture. And he said, well, that's what we ought to do here. If you ever read that story, it's fascinating. They had a big fight with the people that actually owned Starbucks because they just wanted to sell beans. They were irritated that he wanted to actually brew coffee and have people stand drink it in the store. They just want to sell beans and send them away. Finally, he bought them out. They went back to San Francisco and ran a little coffee bean store. And he went on and built Starbucks because he saw something beyond coffee. Well, I don't know if he's a hero or what he is. The point is, he's starting to do the same thing every business does now. He's trying to find that balance between opening new stores to grow and adding volume in each existing store to grow and not lose track of what you're in business to really do. And we're constantly doing this. We're going over here saying, well, we want to market more products, so let's get some more clients, and let's get more PV in those circles, and let's become more profitable. Great idea. Let's not forget what business we're in. This business was founded by Rich DeVos and Jay Van Andel to be an opportunity business. The number one product we take to the world is a business opportunity. We do it through great products. But as a business opportunity is our product. That's why we're so misunderstood. Most people in the outside world are used to a guy trying to sell them their product, an automobile, a computer, even a vitamin. When you run into somebody in Mary Kay, they talk to you about coming to a cosmetic party and learn about cosmetics. But when you run into somebody in our business culture, we're mostly talking to them about what their dreams are and if they want to make some extra money. And that confuses people. Because they hear us first talk about opportunity, they mistake the fact that maybe they think we don't care about selling product. Of course we do. How do you think we got to $7 billion? The question isn't whether we sell product. The question is how much do we sell in balance with what the time we spend in developing an organization. And do we really care if to get to 10,000 PV, do you really care if you have 10 people doing 1,000 or 1,000 people doing 10? You know what? I don't think either one of those are very good answers from my experience. 1,000 people doing 10, that's a lot of people to mess with, and it's a very inefficient organization. But 10 people doing 1,000, that's a lot of time-consuming effort to sell 1,000 every month, and I would hate to have my business all based on the activities and the health and whether they got the flu or whether they're having marriage problems or whatever else. I'd need to have 10 people, taking care of my whole business. You know what I think is a lot better than 10 doing 1,000 or 1,000 doing 10? How about 100 doing 100? It's so many people say, well, how come you do 100? Oh, for heaven's sakes, use your head. All you got to do is think about the alternatives, and 100 doing 100 is a logical alternative. Now, could it be 50 doing 200? Oh, probably. But the point is, there's a number there that's the right balance that allows us to keep the opportunity out in front and yet not be inefficient and wasteful and not get out there and try to build a business on sand with a big network of people that do nothing. What we want to do is have a network of people that make money, that move product, that say to the outside world, yeah, you can join our business, but if you don't, we'd like to have you be one of our clients. We got some great stuff. So that's balance, and we got to keep that balance, and it's very important. Number 4, the balance between width and depth. Wow, is this a controversial one these days? It shouldn't be. When anybody asks me, should I build width or should I build depth, do you know what I say? Yes. It's like rowing with both oars again. Study the marketing plan. If you have one leg with 12 Crown Ambassadors in it, how much will you earn? I might have one leg with 12 Crown Ambassadors in it. But you only earn money on that if you have more legs. Because in this business, the profitability is largely dependent on having a sufficient width so that you are in a different bonus bracket than the people that are being supplied in your group, and so that you can take advantage of certain bonuses that are only paid when you have multiple platinum legs. So of course we have to have width. That's where we make money. But we also learned years ago that organizations that become very wide without much depth are very fragile. They're very temporary. They can blow away in the wind. It's like a tree with no roots. So we learned that we have to not only recruit people, but we have to help those people become successful. We have to teach them how to duplicate so they can teach others how to duplicate, so they can teach others how to duplicate. And as organizations get deeper, we get a multiplying effect. We get a stabilizing effect. And we get a very powerful combination of enough width for profitability and enough depth for stability. And so when we develop our strategies and we teach you to develop a segmented list of people, we teach you to start your business with 2 or 3 legs from different segments of your initial list, and then begin to focus on those legs until you get some duplication going, and then get another 2 or 3 legs and begin to work those until you get your duplication going. The idea is both in balance. And so that's too big of a subject for today. But, you know, in the old days, we used to teach if you got about 20 on your front line, it's pretty likely that you'd have no more than maybe 12 or so of them that actually even ordered the product. There'd be 6 or 8 of them that disappear the minute you recruited them. Just the reality of life. Something happened, they blew away in the wind. It's like the seeds on the ground along the road, and the birds get some, and the thorns choke out others, and some grow and multiply. Well, we put people in a business, we give them an opportunity, some of them grasp it and do something with it, and some of them just float away and make excuses, or can't even remember the name of the company, or your phone number, or whatever. It happens all the time. So we have, if you put in about 20, we figure you find maybe about 10 or 12 that would actually order some things. You might find 6 or 8 that would actually start to build an organization, but you're probably not going to find more than about 3 out of 20 that can actually invest in and help them build a business. And so we call that the 20-12-8-3 principle. Well, where'd that principle go? It didn't go anywhere. If you build a team 20 deep, it's very unlikely you'll have more than 10 or 12 that are actually ordering anything. And you probably only have 6 or 8 that are actually trying to show the plan or get a little education. But ultimately, if you get about 3 out of every 20 that are actually building a business, building with, creating volume, showing their own plans, taking some ownership, that's not bad. I mean, if you can get 3 people that become bases and foundations of duplication, then what do? Well, the same thing we used to tell people before. Well, I got 20 and I only got 3. What do I do now? Well, you got enough for emerald, so get another 20 more. You'll probably have another 3. You'll have enough for diamond. So people now say to me, well, what do? This leg is 20 deep. I only got 3 people. What do you mean you only have 3 people? 3 people's great. Why don't you get 20 more deep? You have 3 more people. And when you get about 6 really solid people in a team, that team is getting really close to hitting the top of the bonus scale. That's just the nature of our business. Now, you don't need to learn all that today, but our Network 21 system has got all that laid out. We already know what it's going to take. You got to just kind of get the thing going, and we'll help you to sort out who to work with and who not to work with. Number 5 I wrote down was the balance between profit and what I'll call investment. Boy, I wish I took the time to spend more time on this one. Right now, there's a big buzz going on in this company, rightfully so, to remind ourselves that we are in the business not just to make money for ourselves. We are in business to do that, but we're also in business to help other people make money. That's what we're supposed to do as leaders. We can be measured as leaders not in just what success we get, but how successful are the people that we are helping becoming. And one of the most obvious ways to measure success is to help people make some money. So leaders are always thinking, how are my people doing? Are they making some money? Well, one of the first ways you know they're going to be making money, they have to be moving some product. They probably should be developing some retail clients. They need to be developing some width so they make money from the bonus scale. But fundamentally, what we're noticing right now is part of the balance is we need to be a little more conscious of helping the newer person make some profit a little bit sooner than we did before. Meaning, we're aware that one of the weaknesses of our business is if we don't help someone make a little money in the first few months, that's where we lose a lot of people. We lose a lot of people because they just lose their belief that it's ever going to happen. If they work at this thing for a few months and there's absolutely no reward, then unless you've got a really good relationship with them, which I hope you do, and unless you can really help them to trust you, to know that sometimes it doesn't happen right away, but you plant in one season and you harvest in another season, that's a principle you got to talk to people about when they're trying to figure out why they're not making money. But on the other hand, you could also take some responsibility as a leader to say, you know what? I need to help these guys get more familiar with the product, or I need to help them get a few clients if they need money right away, or I need to help them get some wins so they make some profitability on this nice volume that's been created in their team. Just that little bit of success would be the proof in the pudding. It would be the thing that says, wow, it works. And so we ought to be paying attention to these ways that we have. We have to start saying, how can we help our new people get a little bit of profit a little bit quicker so we can lock them in and let them see that the business is real? But where's the balance? Well, the balance is there are people who forget that profit, you have to be very careful, because sometimes the way you make profit in a business, if you focus too much on profit, what do? I hear people all the time say, well, the reason they're not making profit is they're spending too much. Oh, well, really? Well, what rocket science business consultant teaches a business owner that your number one focus is to make profit? I don't know anybody who runs any kind of business mentoring program that tells people that your number one goal ought to be make profit. I'll tell you how to make number one goal. If you own a restaurant, what's the best way to make profit? Well, I guess you could get cheap ingredients. You could hire underpaid staff. You could get a lousy location. You could put cheap menus together on a Xerox machine. You could skip any kind of advertising. You could clean it only twice a week instead of every day. I mean, there's all kinds of ways to cut down on cost, but I don't know if that's a restaurant's going to do real well in the long run. If you're an automobile dealership and you want to make more profit, I suppose you could eliminate all that expensive advertising. But, you might be a little shocked at how few people come into your showroom. There are some things that when you cut cost, you don't gain anything. What about the people that say, well, I don't want to invest all that money to go to college or get specialized training in some field. I just want to get a job. Well, great, you'll be more profitable than the guy that goes out and gets an education, won't you? For a while. But a couple, 3 years later or 4, when the person with the education comes out into the workplace, they catch up very quickly because they invested first. They dug the foundation before they tried to build the building. And one of my pet peeves is when people look so much at profit that they discard the value of investment. And nobody in my engineering class at Purdue sat around saying, look at all the money we're spending on this engineering education when our friends are out as pool attendants and taxi drivers making a lot more money than we are. Nobody ever sat around and said, it's not fair. We've been 4 years in college here and we haven't made any money yet. Nobody expects to make money while they're in college. That's not what you do when you're in university. You get trained, you get educated, you build a foundation. So you'll become more valuable and more productive in the workplace. But in this business, I watch people all the time say, well, I don't need those CDs. I don't need that seminar. You're right, you don't need it. People say, well, can you build the business without the CDs? Can you build the business without CEP? Can you build the business without going to those weekends? Of course. But why in heaven's name would you want to do that? I cannot find the logic in why someone would want to eliminate tools and education and the power that can happen when you have 20 or 30 or 50 or 100 people in your group in a weekend seminar like this, going home, listening to CDs from some of the most successful people in the world, and you compare the productivity, the results, the stability, the attitude of people that are plugged into an educational system to the people that are doing nothing but seeing how much they can sell and how few costs they can actually incur. I got to wonder, not to mention the fact that when people talk about profit, they don't know what they're talking about anyway because nobody knows how much you made this month. All we can tell is how much the company paid you this month. That's not how much you made this month. You might have sponsored somebody this month that will become a diamond in a couple of years. People say, how much you make this year, Jim? I don't know. I mean, they paid me millions. But most of it was for work I did 10 or 20 years ago. I don't know how much I made this month because I haven't been paid this yet for what I made this month. You got to be very careful. You don't let people trick you and trap you and say, well, how much you make in that business? And then you sit down and say, well, I spent this much on a CEP and I spent this much on a weekend and I put some gas in my car and I hired a babysitter and oh my gosh, I'm not making any money at all. I'm out of here. It happens every day and it's tragic. Of course we want people to make money. We better pay attention to people making money. We better not become so cavalier we say, oh, just go to the weekends and get the CDs and, brush your teeth and recruit people. Don't worry about profit. It'll come. That's cavalier and out of balance. We have to worry about whether you're making money because no matter how many motivational speeches I make, many of you are going to be gone if you don't start making money. We know that. We care that you make money. We're going to tell you what you have to do to make money. But we're also going to try to balance it with the reality that we're in a business. This is not a sales job. It's a business. And you own it, and it's an asset, and it can pay you for many years if you do it right and you dig the foundation right. So balance between profitability, talk of profitability, the product side of the business has to be balanced with the personal growth and the educational side of the business so we can become the kind of person that actually can sustain and manage a life with a larger amount of income, because many people aren't even used to that. And number 6, this is one we can spend a lot of time on, is the necessity to balance between the head and the heart. Now I say that because that's probably the rest of this weekend will begin to help some of you to realize why we have weekend seminars. We've got to understand there's a head side of this business. There's a logic side of this business. There's a facts part of this business that we should not discard. Sometimes we get all emotional. We say, oh, who cares about the facts? Well, lots of people care about the facts. I mean, you have to understand the plan. You have to understand the products. You have to have some basic knowledge. You can ask the questions. It is important that this company is financially solid. It is important that the ownership has character and integrity. It is important that you understand, what you need to do and what you'll be paid and not. It's important you understand the rules so that you don't, cause bad reputation problems by doing something that's inappropriate and conducting yourself in a way that brings bad reputation to Network 21 or to your own family name or to this company. But that's the head side of the business. The strategies, the team approach that we teach you, the how to invite someone and how to handle an objection and how to demonstrate this product and how to place an order and how to get on ditto delivery. And that's the head of the business. And the corporation is obsessed with the head of the business. They'll give you documents and websites and rules and ordering and features and benefits and product training. But on the other hand, if you spend your whole life looking at the facts, you miss how life really works because there's an emotional side of success. There's an inspirational side of success. And at some point, we got to move it from the head to the heart. We've got to have that side of it. And I got to tell you, folks, that's what you're going to be picking up this weekend. We can't get this out of websites. We can't get this out of product labels. That's the head part. It's very important. But the hard part is when the business gets down in here and it actually becomes an emotional reason. It becomes a little more personal. And you find something that you can connect to that you want. What is it? I don't know. Maybe it is more money. You know what I hear more often than not from high achievers in this business? I hear things like probably the most quotable line I've heard in many, many years from one of our big leaders in the world, Mitch Sala. Mitch was an engineer, as most of you know. He's probably the most head guy we have in Network 21. All right? I mean, he's Mr. Head. This guy, he gets it. He understands the structure and the depth and how to invite and how to handle objections and how to strategize and how to counsel and the counseling sheet and this sheet and that sheet and this award and that award. And wow. Your brain can hurt just listening to Mitch. You go, oh my gosh, how did they make it that smart? And it's fantastic. Now, those people who know Mitch really well know he's got a gigantic heart. But my point is, he's known for all that kind of side of the business. But what does Mitch say with tears in his eyes is why he built it? I just wanted to be somebody. I just wanted to be somebody. Well, that's not, there's hardly a guy in this room who's going to admit that out loud until probably after you're a diamond. But you know what? For most of the guys in the room, that is what you want. That is what you want. That's what all men want. We want respect. We want to do something that we feel, we really are respected for. And very few of us get it where we work. No matter how successful we become, we don't get it. I want to be somebody. That's the heart side. That's where you kind of start to get emotional about it. You get personal about it. You get to find something you want. Maybe it's looking in the eyes of your kids. It's the heart part of the business. Can't forget that. Because that's if you come out of this weekend and your head gets satisfied and it slips into your heart, now we got something. We got something we can work with. We got something that'll sustain you when it does get a little irritating. We got something that'll help you to put up with the discouragement that sometimes comes when you're pursuing success of any kind, not just this business. I say balance it. So whatever it is, there's a time and a place for everything. There's a time and a place for learning and doing. There's a time for optimism and realism. There's a time for selling and there's a time for sponsoring. There's a time for width, there's a time for depth. What did I forget? There's a time, obviously, for profit, and there's a time for investing. There's a time for using your head, and there's a time for getting it into your heart. I even think there's a time for being in balance, and there's a time for being out of balance. I think Network 21 has always represented balance. But I hope there's also a few of us in here, we got this thing in our heart, and we might even be ready to be a little out of balance in the right way. Because we're going to build a big business, because there's a lot of people need to know about what you guys are doing in here, and I want them to know about it. Thanks a lot.
Wow, that was amazing. What a speech. So much energy, so much information, such wisdom. Fantastic. Now it's time for me to wrap up this session, and I hope you will listen again because these speeches were totally amazing, and we have 4 more days to enjoy this event once more. And be sure that you have booked the 13th of July in your calendar for the next Connect with Angie Summers. And of course, our big event, the Northern Free Enterprise Seminar in Riga, Latvia, the 7th to 9th of June. And speakers from all over the world and speakers from your local market, and the main speakers, Olive Fernandez-Barnaby and Ryan Fernandez, her son. So it's going to be really, really exciting to listen to them and how they created this big business and how they now work together, mother and son, in order to increase and help so many people as possible. So make sure you listen to Susanna's advice for the 21 reasons to be in Riga, and make sure that we will meet there. And with that, I will say thank you and goodbye, and see you in Riga.